It's your boy Booby. I'm back, episode 3, Choppin It Up Show. I'm with my main man, Charlie.
That's what's up. Thank you for having me, Booby.
Yo, thank you for being a guest, man. Taking time out today to do this, man.
Oh, dude, 1000%. Glad you were able to make it up here. Give us some fresh cuts, bro.
Hell yeah, man. The grind never stops, guys. The grind never stops, man. So I met Charlie through Marco, and Charlie's part of his team. And Charlie's my, like, you know, what do I call you? Like, my content guy?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the exact term would be.
Totally. So for the people that I consult with, pretty much they have a team, and I'm the agent, and then you have the content creator and stuff. So pretty much what the agent does is it takes all the resources and all the connections and strategies that we have, and it pretty much just organizes it to get a desired result, right? Which is to help our members create more impact. The reason why Booby started this podcast, well, Booby, if you want to touch a bit on that, like, dude, where did you come from, and like, why are you starting this podcast, this Choppin It Up Show?
Honestly, well, the whole thing with the whole barbering scene to me has been, I guess, jaded. Like social media and the stuff like that, and I guess other barbers have made barbering something else that is not. I'm about the haircuts. I'm about, you know, just staying original, staying 100%, you know, about cutting hair and techniques. Yep. Like, this is my passion, dude. Like, I really love this, and like, for me to be doing what I love and to share it with people, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping with this show, I have guests like you and other people. They share their passions with people and share their success stories and like how they're able to make a living off what they love, just like how I'm doing, you know, with cutting hair.
Totally, bro.
And
yeah,
like I told Marco in the other episode, it's just like, yo, you guys being in a chair was just a small thing in the relationship, right? Now we're here and we're creating things like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally, bro. It's all gotta start somewhere, and I love what you said about like the authenticity. And those are like, we found the 2 factors that pretty much guarantee success on social media is authenticity and consistency, right? And like you just being passionate about what you do and wanting to share that with the world, bro. Like that's what wins on social media.
I mean, I don't think I know how to be anything else. You know what I mean?
Right?
It's difficult to be fake.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. I don't know. I suck at that.
That's a good thing to be bad at, bro.
You know, and I'm so lucky for that. You know what I mean?
Totally.
So, like, and I'm so pissed. Like I said, how do you say authenticity?
Yeah, authenticity.
Like the originality of people is just like it's just watered down, right?
Yeah.
Especially on social media, because social media gives people this, I don't want to say this false like view, but it's a skewed perspective, right? I think I was talking about in the other show with Marco. It was like, yo, people have this view that's like, oh shit, this person on Instagram got like 1 million viewers. They did that shit overnight, and I'm like, I don't think it happens like that, man.
Doesn't.
I don't think it ever happens like that, you know?
Right.
Like you need a team of people to help you, or you need to have some type of struggle. You need to have some time.
Yeah.
To do or to put in to get to that certain level, you know?
So facts, bro. Yep.
So tell the people or whoever's watching, like, what is it you do and why, how did you get into that, I guess, that field of expertise or whatever?
Yeah, man, it's a great story. Well, I mean, ultimately, I got connected with Marco the Champion, who's my mentor now and the CEO of iLegends. And dude, from that place, just our first meeting, he's just helped me align with being able to impact not only our members, which is the clients who are successful business owners. You know, they have that attention, or they have that success in their business, and they have that influence in the real world, and they want to replicate it to the real world, right? So what Marco helped me do is really just recreate myself. Like, I feel like I was constantly just recreating new versions of myself, and I'm still doing that to this day. Because if you think about it as like, if you want to do something, it's simple. It's be, do, and have. So who do you have to be to do what you have to do to have what you want to have, right?
Shit, okay, yeah.
So like, dude, you can rapidly accelerate your success by just asking more powerful questions. And I feel like that's what Marco really helped me do, is ask these more powerful questions. So when I started asking questions about like, what's my purpose and why am I here? You know, like 400 trillion to 1 chances of being born a human. Like we're floating on a rock in space that's like flying. Like we don't even know if this is a simulation or not. Elon Musk says it's 99% chance that it is.
We're on
like,
a flat Earth.
Like, dog, you know what I mean? Oh my God, yeah. So like, what are we doing here? You know? So I feel like my purpose right now is to ultimately help us adapt. Like humanity is at this point where it's adapt or die. Like we're on the trajectory, we're gonna be out of resources in 50 years.
50?
Like, yeah, dog, that's what they're saying.
Oh my God.
Like we're either gonna kill each other or the planet that we're living on, right?
2020 is the beginning of the end. See that?
Bro,
see that?
It's the beginning of the end for what though? That's the question. You know? It's like, that's what we get to decide. Is it the end of, you know, negative or in the start of something positive, or, you know, like what is that? I don't even know, man. So I just yeah, dude, exactly. So and we always need that balance, you know, that yin and yang. There's always going to be that positive and that negative. And so I just feel like, yeah, my purpose here is to help restore balance a bit.
So, what if you were to break it down? What would your title be? If you this is your job, right, or this is your occupation, or this is what would you say? I'm Charlie, and I'm Gooby. I'm a barber. You're Charlie.
I'm an agent for influential entrepreneurs, pretty much.
Agent, okay.
Yeah.
And you're, how did you know, or what made you even think about this is what you want to do and like pursue like in a like professional manner?
Dude, straight alignment. Like this was God putting me on my path. Like I'll tell you, I was in high school. I was 15 and a half. And my college counselor, I think I was 16 at this time. My college counselor asked me, he's like, you know, why do you want to go to college? I was like, wow, no one had ever asked me that question at 16.
Okay.
And so no one had ever asked me that question, right? I just grew up my whole life believing that if I wanted to be successful, I go to college. So school was the environment to succeed in. So I just got like straight A's my whole life.
Ooh, okay.
And
Charlie,
dude, I just went hard in school, right?
Genius out here.
I was just like, this is where I'm gonna be successful, right? Because this is the next step to college, and college is how I get to success, right? That's what I was programmed to believe. When he asked me that question, why, which I believe is the most important question in like the whole human language,
why?
I started to look at it, right? I was like, okay, well, why? It would be to build a network, and it would be to get education, right?
Okay.
What if I could get my own education though, and not have to learn things that other people want me to learn, and get to decide where my attention goes, and get to decide who I connect with, right? Or at least just put me in that environment. So like I started asking, what if I could do that for myself, and what would that look like? So, dude, like what happened is I ended up transitioning out of high school. I was living in my friend's garage at the time. I was working 3 jobs and still attending the full-time high school. So I was just working straight, like literally worked to the point.
Hustler,
I was going, bro. I worked to the point. It was like a Wednesday or something, and I had one job and then I had the next. And what happened was I was driving home from school on my motorcycle, and I was so tired. I was like, all right, if I don't pull over, I'm gonna pass out right here. So I did pull over. I just found a patch of grass, pulled over, like parked the motorcycle, got off, didn't take my gloves or my helmet off or anything. I just like fell on the ground, knocked out for 30 minutes,
so
and then I woke up.
Literally like laid on
the grass, on the grass.
Okay.
Yeah, I pulled over.
The grass, guys.
Yeah. Nah, just lay down on the grass, and I was out, bro. I woke up 30 minutes later, and I was like, all right, shit, it's time to go to work. So yeah, dude, like straight up productivity's been my passion. Like me just being productive and feel like I'm contributing to something and progressing myself, like that's the best feeling for me. So after, you know, transitioning out of high school and being in this garage and working all these jobs, I really wanted to pursue music. My brother's actually a producer. Okay. He's a signed producer to Visionary Records right now, and he's crushing it, right? And so I've always had this passion for music, just growing up in my family. We all love music so much, and I started to create it, and I really, really enjoyed creating music, and I still do to this day. It's just a matter of doing it strategically, right? So I did that for a bit, then I went into drop shipping. I spent pretty much $7,000 into drop shipping.
Before you continue, what's drop shipping?
Dude, great question. So drop shipping
I really don't know.
It's all cool, bro. Drop shipping is a super cool concept where it's like you have the buyer and you have the supplier and you have you, right?
So you're a middleman.
You're the middleman, that's it. You don't have to buy any inventory, you don't have to buy any stock. You pretty much just market the product, you put it on a website, people buy it, you buy it from the supplier ships it directly to the customer. So that's what I got into, right? So then it's like driving traffic, it's getting people to convert, it's really getting into like sales, but on a digital version. What I'm in now is sales, but as a person, you know?
Like people instead of digital.
Exactly, bro. Which I very much appreciate. I'm you know, that decision or that shift had to be made for me to fulfill my purpose, right? So like invested $7,000 into that. My motorcycle was stolen, so I took what was I took what was I got returned on an insurance from that, put it into the business, and pretty much through that I lost it all, right? Like my cost of living, and I wasn't managing my money very well. Like I pretty much just lost all my money, and I was at ground zero again.
So this is in California where this is happening?
Yeah, this is actually right over on that hill over here in San Diego.
Wow, okay. You're a local legend right now.
Local. Yeah, man. So all that started happening, and then I started getting into like mentors. I realized like if I want to rapidly accelerate my growth, like it's gonna be a mentor. So after that dropshipping business, I started a social media agency. And
so you started this?
Yeah, no, not this one. It was a different one.
Oh no, a different one. I know. Okay.
Yeah. So it was pretty much just like marketing and stuff. And I was like just getting in the game, but I was so hungry, dude. So through that, I was going in to meet with this client. His name was Lance Growth. And
Lance Growth,
yeah.
Like growth, like growing.
Yes, sir. Shit. Yeah. So he ended up, I went into his. He was doing a live speaking event. I came up to him at the end. I was like, I love your speaking event. Like, you provided so much value. I'd love to, see how I can help transfer that value into online and build your social media, bring you more leads. So we started working on that. And at the end of the meeting, or he told me to come back. And at the end of that meeting, he was like, I want to be your mentor. So he pretty much started mentoring me.
Oh.
Through that, he had this nonprofit called the Collective Access. Yeah, dude. So it was this nonprofit in San Diego, and he pretty much had connections to all the most like influential entrepreneurs in San Diego, people who were crushing it. And so through him, I got connected to the network. I met this guy, Dan Fulkerson, and we sat down for lunch. Dan's such a good guy, and pretty much what he did is he connected me with Marco. Like he was so busy at the time, and I was pretty much asking for him to mentor me.
Dan was busy.
Yeah, he was super busy. I was asking for him to mentor me, and he's like, dude, I don't have time right now, So he was like, let me connect you with Marco and just see what happens. He's a young guy, he's crushing it too. So me and Marco just sat down for like 30 minutes. We had just had a quick meeting. I left the building, and then as I'm leaving, he gives me a call. He's like, there's an internship opportunity here available for you. And I'm like, dude, I'm totally down. It's like straight committed. And dude, so pretty much through that, like I started interning at iLegends, just sending DMs, just like what I really wanted was proximity. And I told
What do you mean by proximity?
Proximity, dude, straight up, it's crucial because you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right?
Okay.
So for me, so if you hang around 5 idiots, you're gonna be the 6th idiot, right? If you hang around 5 millionaires, you're gonna be the 6th millionaire, right? It's just how it works.
That's the plan.
Well, it's just how it works because everyone is talking and vibrating at a certain frequency, and all the information that they're sharing is getting transferred to you because you're around them, right? You're listening to these conversations, you're picking it up, you're picking the way.
Without even knowing it.
Dude, without even knowing it, like your subconscious is like picking up how they're acting, right? Because it's your environment, you're a product of your environment, right? So I was like, I knew that if I could spend more time around people like this, I have a better chance of success. So I pretty much just wanted to spend as much time around Marco as I could at the beginning. And so I was just sending DMs. I was just helping as an intern in any space that I could.
Let's rewind this a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want to know what Marco told you that he's like, I'm a fucking intern. I'm gonna do this shit. Hell yeah. Because interns, do they get paid? They don't get paid, right?
No.
So you're about to do this shit for free?
Yeah, 1000%.
Okay, all right.
1000%.
I want to know what he, or I guess it's not word for word, but something like, you know what? Say he said something to you like, you know what? I'll do that shit for free. I'm gonna fucking crush it. Holy, you know what I'm saying? Like, not a lot of people are willing to do shit for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I think what it comes down to is like it wasn't for free at all. Like the value that he was exchanging with me was much greater
than money.
Than anything, right?
No, okay.
It's like it's the value, it's the information, it's the experiences. And so for me, and I think this is for anybody who's young and wants to find a mentor and start, progressing towards success and what that looks like to them, is provide value to someone, more than they provide to you. So it's like, for me to even ask for pay in that situation, it wouldn't make sense, right? Because he's providing so much value on the front of just proximity. So for me, it's like, okay, how can I over deliver on my value then, right? So it's like constant, like seeing what I can do to bring in.
So you was winning
business,
regardless.
Like,
you're winning in a winning situation.
Oh, bro, 1000%, and that's all it is. Like it's always a win-win situation, And I feel like that's why our team works so well, is because we're always in a win-win mindset with all of our clients, with all of our business partners. yeah, man. So that's a good mindset to have in business for sure. So yeah, dude, Marco pretty much just conditioned my mind. What happened was we moved out to Phoenix. And
moved out to Phoenix.
Moved out to Phoenix. So straight up, I was 17.
You got out of high school. You're still in high school. You're done.
I was still in high school.
Okay.
And so pretty much I'm like transitioning out of high school. I'm taking these online courses, and I'm pretty much like not going to a full-time high school.
Well, I'm going like school for real.
Yeah, this is like I'm going into like, dude, my soul could not bear it anymore. Like for me to
the soul.
Straight up, bro. Like for me to be studying things that I was like, this is not gonna make a positive, like why am I learning this? Like that question for me is so powerful, and if there isn't a good reason behind why I'm doing something, it's a struggle to do it, right? I really have to put effort into it, and what I've learned is that like you always want to take the path of least resistance. Like, I
mean, that's a natural human thing, right? Like
exactly.
Nature. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And everything comes to you effortlessly if you just allow it to, So like we had moved out to Phoenix. I had been living with my parents. Marco's like, do you want to move out? I'm just like, yes, bro. He asked me, I didn't even know the details. I just said yes, and I committed. And we ended up pulling it together, bro. So we all moved out. First time I'm in Phoenix, I'm driving up in a van with my dad. First time I'm in Arizona, actually, I'm driving up in a van with my dad with all my stuff in the back, moving down to Phoenix. And dude, that was just such an experience. Like, I really got to separate myself from everything that I was, like my whole environment, my friends, my relationships, and completely like design a new self.
That's dope.
Like being around Marco and the team, So I got to like rebuild this identity.
Designing your old self, right?
Yeah.
Or your own self. So if you're looking back now, what was your old self like? And the second part of the question is like, what do you see your new self to be? Or what would you like your new self to be? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you say you want to, recreate and, redesign yourself. So
yeah.
How were you prior to, I guess, Charlie now?
That's a good question, bro. And I'll put it as we have two selves, right? We have the higher self, and the higher self wants to, the higher self knows what's best for you. The higher self knows how to get to success most effortlessly, right? Most effortlessly. Like where you literally like don't feel like you're putting in any effort and you're progressing towards success, right? Because if you truly love what you're doing and you're truly passionate, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like this is what I love doing. This is just what I'm doing, right? This is my effortless state of being.
Hell yeah.
So you have this, you have this higher self, right? And then you have this what we call the bitch self. And the bitch self, yeah,
like
straight up the bitch self.
Okay.
Yeah, and the bitch self is the one when you're about to do a backflip off a boat, and the bitch self is like, nah, I'm scared, man. What if the water all wrong? Exactly. The bitch self is gonna tell you to not take action, to not progress, right? And what it comes down to, dude, is like everything that you want and don't have sits just outside of your comfort zone. So to get things that you want and don't have, you have to get outside your comfort zone. The bitch self, it thinks it's helping you, and another name for it is just the lower self. But the bitch self, dude, it thinks
it's helping you. It sounds much more effective.
Yeah, right?
People,
it
like,
does.
Don't be a bitch.
Don't be a bitch, bro. But, like, straight up ask, like, is this the bitch self talking or is this my higher self talking? And then you just decide who to follow, right? It's like, do I want to align myself with my higher self or my bitch self? I don't want to be the bitch self, So I'm obviously gonna do the opposite.
Some people have the little angel, some people have the devil. You have a bitch self and you have a higher self.
That's what it is, bro.
Crazy.
And it's like the thing is like the bitch self, which is the lower self, like it's still part of you, so it wants to help you, right? It just doesn't know how because it operates a little out of fear. So it'll be like, I'm trying to protect you.
That's also human. Nature, right? The fight or flight thing, right?
Exactly. So it'll be like, I'm trying to protect you right now because we'll die if we don't, right?
We gotta be bitches right now.
That's what it thinks. That's what it thinks. It's in a state of survival, right? Your higher self knows much better though, right? Your higher self has a much broader perspective. And dude, so just like listening to that and following that higher self, it's gonna get you to where you wanna go tonight.
So when did you realize this? That there's a bitch self for everybody and like a higher self?
Yeah.
Or what made you say, fuck this bitch self person? It's high Charlie all the time.
Totally.
Higher self. Higher self Charlie.
Yeah. And I'll tell you straight up, it's not just higher self all the time. Like you operate as two selves, right? And there's a spectrum of you that's vibrating at a high vibration and a spectrum of you that's vibrating at a low vibration. And so it's understanding and accepting and loving both parts, right?
Really?
And if you can, and like what was interesting is because I started to notice the gap. As I started to build this new identity, the gap broadened from who I used to be, and I was able to really pinpoint that's the bitch self, and this is the higher self. This is what I don't want. This is where I want to go.
It's like Fight Club. Remember when he killed himself, but he wouldn't really kill himself?
Shit, I haven't even seen that movie, bro.
Oh my god! Shit! You need to watch it. That's homework tonight.
All right.
You know how you give me homework? Yo, do your homework. Fight Club, bro.
That's hella funny.
All right.
Let's show.
But yeah, but basically doesn't. Yeah.
Bro.
See it. We'll talk about that in the next episode or something like that.
Yeah, dude. So like, understanding that these are both part of you, and you can use it like they're both your friends, bro. Like ultimately, if you don't have a fun relationship with yourself and don't love yourself, it's you can't have it with other people. Like
so you're telling me you have to love bitch self too?
You do. You totally do. And because what it comes down to is your bitch self. It wants to help you in a little bit. Like your lower self is still part of you. It wants to help you a little bit, but it operates out of fear. So how you can look at it as a positive is say, okay, this bitch self is fearing right now and is telling me not to do this. That means I've got to do the exact opposite, right? And that's when it comes in handy, and that's when it's effortless. Because if you resist the bitch self, you're always going to be constantly struggling, right? Because then you're going to be like, oh no, it says I don't want to do it, and like and you're identifying with the bitch self. But as soon as you say, that's the bitch self, but I'm the awareness behind it, it gives you all the power, man.
That's crazy, yo. That's wild, though.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild. I wonder, and the thing to me at this point in time is like, I wonder what the bitch self tells people for them to like accept the bitch self, what they're saying. You know what I mean? Because like you said, it's operating out of fear, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But like, why is the fear so much greater than I guess the positive vibes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. That's one thing that I still don't understand. I don't think I'll ever understand.
Dude, that's a great question, and it comes simply down to where focus goes, energy flows. Your focus is literally your energy. When you focus on something, think about the word when people say paying attention. Your energy is your most valuable resource. When you put your focus on something, you're paying it attention, right? And so where that focus is going, that energy is flowing. So when you focus on the bitch self and you identify with the bitch self and you think about all the things that are going bad and all the things you're afraid of, you're just gonna get more of that because that's where your energy is flowing. So that's what you're telling God, the universe, and everyone around you to give you more of, right? As soon as you switch the narrative and start to look at the opposite side of the spectrum and focus on what's negative, even if there's bad things going on. And like that's kind of I think one of the most beautiful states of being is when everything around you is like it's shifting and unsure and like a hailstorm, and you're just calm-minded, and that's typically when I find like the greatest clarity, bro. Like having that clarity in the hailstorm, that's when I find the greatest breakthroughs happen.
Really thrive in those types of environments. Or some people like to say they thrive in environments. I'm like, yo, do you really?
Right.
Like when shit hits the fan, are you fucking right underneath the fan and still fucking like pushing it forward, or just like, oh shit, this shit's on me, I gotta go.
Exactly. And I think there's two ways of learning things, right? Because it has to come to a point for many people where the shit hits the fan for them to learn a lesson.
Oh no, hell yeah.
Like universe and the God or whatever you want to call it, infinite intelligence, like it'll always be helping you to where you want to go in the most effortless way possible. Right? Sometimes, and what happens a lot of the times, is people who aren't aligned with their higher selves and don't identify with it, they don't listen to what it has to say. And it'll give many opportunities to progress and to adjust and to improve, but they won't listen to it, right? So then it's like, okay, if you're not gonna evolve through this way, through me just sharing it, like, you're gonna have to evolve another way. So then it becomes forced evolution, right? Yeah. And that's when it's like, okay, you've been getting this feedback from all of your clients or like whatever it is, all your patients, you've been getting this feedback and you've just been kind of pushing it to the side, and now your clients are leaving you. It's like now you're in the shitstorm, but had you just listened to the feedback at the beginning, you could have been in a different situation, right? So the universe and God, it'll always get you to evolve. The question for you is, do you want to evolve effortlessly or do you want to struggle against it?
But like you said, there's some people that need to learn like that. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's just inevitable too.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, for me, for example, I'm a pretty stubborn dude. Like, I'm that kid that like, that store, like you tell them the stove is hot, they're gonna touch it and burn themselves. Like, fuck it. Now I'm gonna have to figure out a way to touch the stove without getting burnt.
Right.
I know it's hot.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, that whole evolution thing, like that shit's real, man.
Yeah.
You can't get to where you want to go or be who you want to be.
Yep.
Without evolving.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Straight up what it is, and that's the greatest gift of humanity, is to build on each other's knowledge, right? If we weren't able to build on each other's knowledge, like, we'd still be living in rocks and caves.
Hell yeah,
you know,
caveman still.
Yeah, you
come in here with rocks.
Yeah, you come in here with rocks right now. You know what I mean? So that's what mentors can do. If you think about the analogy, if somehow like our minds were just wiped and we're like babies today, and one of us went to go cross the street and got hit by a car, you know, the next person would be able to be like, okay, this guy got hit by a car. What did he do wrong? Or what did he do? He like didn't look both ways. He wasn't very attentive. He just straight walked across, right? He got hit. That was the result, right? Yeah. So then the second guy's able to be like, okay, he did this wrong. He got hit by a car. What I can do is I can look both ways. If there's a car coming, I'm not gonna go. If it's clear, then I'm gonna walk across and I'm gonna get across safe, right? Mm-hmm. And then the second guy, he learns, right? Yes. So that's constantly how we can learn, and that's what mentors do, is they're able to experience it first, because in learning something, you can either learn it from someone else's experience or by experiencing it yourself. So the mentor is the person who says, I've done this, you know, I've learned this from experience, and I'm able to teach you this information without you having to go through the experience. And that's the most important part. And that's like the whole entire point of life, is you can either learn from the lessons that the world is trying to teach you, if you're open to it, and if you're open-minded, and if you're always looking for solutions to your problem. Because if there's a problem, it means there's a solution, right? Yes. Or you can actually go through the experience, and you can struggle through it, and you can learn through that. It's really just a choice, is what it comes down to.
So what was it that made you think that, or decide like, I need a mentor?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Like, I was just, at first I was like, okay, I can do this on myself, you know, like,
I'm a one-man team. That's what everyone thinks.
Yeah,
I can do this on myself.
I'm like, solo wolf, bro, I got this, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I was like learning off of YouTube, and so in a sense I had like micro mentors, but they were just off of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, this is cool. I just feel like proximity was the biggest thing that I wanted. Like, I wanted to be around successful people, just like I was saying. Like, the biggest reason why I would shoot to go for an Ivy League school was to be around people that go to Ivy League schools, you know, to be around that vicinity of that network of high net worth individuals, you know, high frequency individuals. And so like, I knew that I needed that in my life, because the people that I was spending the most time with
was the people that you wanted to be like in that type of like, I don't know what to call it, like, I guess like status or level.
Yeah, so like I didn't want to, right? Like, the question I asked myself was like if I achieve everything that I want to, and like, I have this vision for myself, and everyone has this vision of themselves of what they can be, right? Yes. So like, you just picture this picture, right? Like, envision it. What does that look like? Who are the people around you? And look at the people in your life today, and look at the events and the things that you're doing in your life today. Some of those things will not be, and I'll say actually most of those things will not be in that vision of you 10 years later, right?
That's fucking crazy.
So then it's simple. It's like, okay, if I want to get there, I have to just cut out what it is now, right? So some of the things will be, you'll be able to immediately cut out. It'll be super easy. Yes. Habits like watching a bunch of Netflix, right? Bad habits that you can cut off. Then there's relationships, like friends, people. Like, tell you straight up, dude, I was living in my friend's garage at the time that I was going through this transition, and I had to break up with my girlfriend, and I literally had to stop hanging out with that friend because I saw how he was, you know, affecting toxic, my environment, right? Yeah. Exactly. And it's so much love, you know, and I love these people so much, and it's hard, but I had to do that for myself, right? And so, yeah, dude, like, I went through that whole entire transition, and really just realized that I needed someone in my life that was in that vision 10 years down the line, you know, someone that could progress me to exactly who I needed to be. And that environment is so crucial, man. If one thing is going to be important for you, it's going to be your environment. Like, what you surround yourself with and what your external environment is what your subconscious mind picks up. Yeah, man. And then what it puts out again, you know?
You're a product. You could definitely be a product of your environment.
Yep.
Well, that takes a lot. That's a big factor that, you know, is contributing to what you or who you become, you know?
Yeah, dude. And so that's the cool thing, is you can be a product of your environment, and then you can get to the point where your environment's your product, and it's constantly going back and forth between each other, right?
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
Dude, they're constant reflections of each other, right? Like, think about why wealthy people like buy nice things, and I've heard one of my mentors just off of YouTube, like Dan Locke, talking about this, like, why you buy nice cars, why you buy nice watches. It's because it's a value and it's a feeling you get from it. And what he does is he calls them wealth triggers. It's something that you look at in your environment that constantly reminds you, hey, I'm wealthy, I'm successful, right? Yeah. Think about if you had someone standing next to you all the time, 24 hours a day, saying you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, right? You start to believe you're an idiot.
That
you know
big
what I mean?
facts. Big facts.
If you have things in your environment that are constantly reminding you, I'm successful, I'm positive, I'm fulfilling my purpose, like that's the story you're going to be telling yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at the beginning, you're going to have to really put in a lot of effort to change your environment in order to get to a point where you're able to operate effortlessly in your environment, right?
Yeah.
That takes a lot of changes though. Like it takes
a lot of discipline, man.
Dude, cutting out all my friends, like completely changing my environment, it's not easy. And for anyone who's having to go through that, like it's straight not easy. It comes down to like how bad do you want it, you know? Like is this something you're willing to do, or are you gonna spend the rest of your life in this situation? And for me, like stagnation is the greatest pain I could experience. And I just love productivity, man. I love progression. I love evolution, and I think that's like human nature. And I think when we're all evolving, like we're all in our highest state of being, and that's when the world's the happiest, bro. So, yeah.
I believe that. So now that you're speaking of all that stuff, because this whole time we're talking about karma, universe, God, or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you believe in God? Do you have a religion, or you just like spirit? I don't know. How would you define where your beliefs coming from?
That's a great question, dude. So, my mom's a shaman. When I grew up, yeah, I had so much anger, so much frustration.
You?
Yes, bro. I was drawing all my energy from the opposite side of the spectrum, the dark place, right? Like dude, the dark side of straight up what it is. Straight up what it is. So like my parents had divorced, and I was just like blaming everyone. Like I was
just a bad place.
Yeah, just a bad place, right? So I was lashing out at my teachers, literally cussing out my teachers, like throwing chairs in class. Like I would have been expelled if I had not.
You're fucking gangster, man.
Straight up, bro. But not a good kind of gangster. The gangster that was hurting people, right? So like what my mom did with me and what she did for a living, she actually recently passed away 2 months ago. All good, bro. I appreciate that. And so, and you know, like on that sense, like energy can never be created or destroyed, only transferred, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, where's that energy go? That's the question of God and the universe that we'll get into too, right? So what my mom helped me do is, I had so much energy, and she just helped me draw it from a different place and convert it to a different form of energy, to positive energy, right? So my mom, like we did ceremonies where I'd literally like blow out my angers and my emotions into like stones and stuff. She would do these energy center like meditations, and she really just helped me and like protected me from these dark energies, right? And in part I feel that she felt that was part of her purpose, because you know when I was like 17 or 18, she had been telling me like I'm ready to leave this earth now. Like I feel like I've completed my dharma.
Wow.
Like, so she was on her way out, right? Mm-hmm. So she had gotten cancer, and she decided not to tell anyone. I found out like 2 weeks before, and like that was a quick experience, man. And I'm so grateful for that experience, and I'll tell you straight up, like it's not like most experiences of parents passing. Like it wasn't something that was necessarily sad for me. Like yes, it's so emotional, and like when I do have tears, like it's just out of pure love and out of like pure connection with God.
And like gratitude.
And gratitude,
right?
bro.
Because I had the same thing with my mom when she passed.
Yeah.
Like it was the same exact feeling.
Straight up, bro. Straight up. So on that note of like God and the universe and what I believe in, dude, there's something bigger than us. Like there's this conscious collective. When you start to understand and play with the laws of the universe, there's a conscious collective that we're all a part of, right? Now, whether you want to call this God or the universe or infinite intelligence, it has millions of names.
Yes.
And I think where humanity went wrong is trying to attach like a human force, a human form to it, and saying, hey, this is our story, and our story is right, and if you don't believe in this story, you're wrong. And that's why, you know, religions have caused so much death and so much
wars. Cause wars.
Straight up, right?
Legit.
So like, I've come like there's just something that's bigger than us, right? We don't really know what it is.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah. No,
yeah. So like, whatever you want to call it, like you could even call it your higher self, like in a sense, like whatever relationship you want to have with that, it's up to you. And like, I love freedom of belief. Like everyone can believe their own story, and if it works for you and it's helping you and it's helping other people, then we're golden, bro. You know? Right. Yeah.
There's no reason why someone should force their beliefs or religion on someone else.
Exactly.
This is the whole point of America. You're allowed to do that.
Exactly.
And just because you believe in Buddha, I believe in Elephant God, and they believe in Jesus, don't mean we gotta be enemies.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is they all believe in pretty much the same thing, but with a little bit different stories.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
no, you're right.
It's kind of interesting, you know?
It's crazy though. It's like, cause I grew up as a Catholic, right?
Yeah.
And like I remember, you know, you just go through the motions because your parents do this, they go here, they do that. So you're just a little kid, you don't know no better.
Yeah, right.
But as you get older, like you start to realize a few things and I guess how the world actually works.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying religion's a sham or it's fake or it's like you said, like, you know, if it helps people get through, it helps people get through it. If you believe and you have faith, then you know it is what it is. But I also do believe, like you said, there's a higher being or a higher force than us. And
Yeah.
we just don't know what it is. And
Right.
it could be karma, it could be vibes, it could be frequencies, it could be whatever the fuck it is. But
It's
like
all
you
that,
say,
bro.
I feel like
It's all of that.
as I think what religion did for people is like it gives them hope.
It does.
Faith, right?
It gives them something to, exactly.
Yeah,
It's what
you know
it
what I'm
is.
saying?
Exactly, bro.
So
Yes.
I think that's good to have too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And faith, I'll touch on a bit because it's such an important factor in success. And I think it's really, like, the notation of it can be kind of misrepresented by religions talking about faith, right?
Yeah.
But faith is just such a powerful tool, right?
It really is.
Like, you have to have faith. The number one thing is you have to believe in yourself. Like, your belief, like, I don't care what part of, like, where you're from, how wealthy or not wealthy your family is, like, the belief is what determines it all, right? Like, if you believe in yourself and you believe that there's a potential reality out there that you are successful and that you become who you want to become, and you just live in a complete state of delusion in that reality, then eventually you're going to get there, right?
Like speaking to existence, right?
Speak it into existence. It's living it into existence. It's feeling the emotion ahead of the experience. Because what happens is our mind doesn't know the difference, or our body doesn't know the difference between what's real and what we're just imagining, right?
What the fuck outta
straight
here?
up, which is fear.
That's some crazy shit right there.
Which is fear, right? And the acronym for fear is false evidence appearing real. So,
Ooh, I'm gonna have to write that down somewhere.
yeah, bro. Because when we think about something that makes you anxious and your heart starts beating and your blood starts pumping and you know you start to like feel like you're anxious, but you're not in that experience. You're just still sitting here.
Word up, yeah, it's just still in your mind,
right? So your mind is telling your body that it's in a state of distress, and it's your body's accepting that, right? It's reacting to that. So if you're able to tell your mind that and tell your body that you're in a state of abundance and effortless ease and you're successful and you're happy with your life and you love what you do and you love the people that are around you, and if you can feel that emotion ahead of the experience, even when everything in your environment is telling you the opposite, then you can create that reality for yourself, right? Because whatever energy you're feeling is being broadcasted into the universe, just like, or into God, or the infinite, the quantum realm is what they're calling it, right?
Quantum realm.
This is where science is,
What is that?
yeah, so this is where science is kind of coming into spirituality, and they're kind of mixing, right?
So it's almost contradicting, no?
Yeah, no, well, here's what's happening is they're learning about the quantum realm.
Okay.
And what the quantum realm is, and you know, forgive my explanation because I'm not a scientist on it, but
Okay, you know better,
from my understanding, right, it's this infinite field of energy that's all around us, right? And we've actually been able to measure the energy fields around humans because all that we are is energy, right? So there's an energy field around us that when we're vibrating at a certain frequency, that's the energy that's being sent out into the universe. And there's all these different things that are vibrating at these different frequencies, and it's the law of attraction, right? Whatever you put out, you get back.
Yes.
So when you're
I believe
vibrating
that.
at a frequency of love and abundance and prosperity, you're just naturally going to be connected with people that feel the same way. And if you look at how nature succeeds and how nature builds these massive forests that span thousands of miles and these huge waterfalls, like, it does it effortlessly, dog. It doesn't struggle. Like, leaves don't try to grow, they just grow. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like,
I do know you. I never
yeah.
thought of that, but I do know what you. I get it.
Like,
I
nature
get
doesn't
it.
have to struggle, it just is.
It just happens.
It just happens,
Like,
right? That if humans can follow the same laws, they can do the same thing. They can evolve effortlessly and grow effortlessly. And yeah, man.
So what do you think it is that people stop and like, you know what? I don't want to evolve. I don't want to grow effortlessly. I want to just, or like, you know what I mean? It's like it, because to me, when you say that, like,
Yeah.
growth and evolution and all that just seems like it's just natural and it's just supposed to happen. I don't know why people want to hinder that or stop that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Again, that's fear, man. Like, we're afraid of change, and change is evolution, right? Like, what happens is we get comfortable with our situation, and for that to change, we get uncomfortable. And like, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Straight down what it comes down to. Like, you can either be uncomfortable like at least for me right now, it's like I get uncomfortable when I'm comfortable. When I'm like relaxed and I'm like, all right,
What the fuck?
I'm like, okay, like what's going on, right? Like I'm not pushing myself, I'm not evolving, and if I'm not doing that, then I know the universe is gonna do it for me in the form of something else, right? Like for me, I would much rather have full responsibility of that and be progressing myself, because that's when you have control, and when you have control of your whole environment is when you take responsibility and you accept responsibility for everything that happens around you, right? Because once you accept that responsibility, that means you have the ability to change it.
Yes.
Think about, look at that last part of responsibility, right? It gives you the ability to make that change, to make a response, right? Once you accept that responsibility.
Well, I never broke it down like that. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy shit right there. That's awesome. What the fuck? That's fucking wild ass shit. Like, that's probably why whoever thought of the fucking word, like, this is what it means and this is what we're gonna fucking go with.
Yeah, right?
Fuck it.
For real,
That's some crazy shit. So, what do you see yourself doing, like, with this in like 10 years from now, 20 years from now, or what would your legacy be, or like, yeah, what like, you know what I'm saying, in the future, moving forward from here on out, like, what's like the, I guess, the bigger goals and like, cause this stuff like you're telling me, this is fucking like, kind of like mind blowing and shit a little bit, you know. So like, what would you see yourself in like the next couple years, like 5, 10, 20 years, you know, doing? Would you just continue doing this, or like, how would you expand on that and like, you know, I guess teaching and or I'll call it enlightening other people. Like, how would that, you know, how do you see yourself?
Yeah, man, that is such a great question, and I'll share my experience with this because, like, more recently, I've been asking, like, okay, you know, like, what's my 5-10 year vision of it? Like, I really want to get this down, because if I feel like if I don't have it, I don't really know where I'm going, right?
Yes.
And I feel like I was facing a lot of resistance with that question, and like
with yourself, or just like in
just with the question, like, and with the question itself, like, what it came down to is like the words that I received from God, you know, was just these 3 mantras right here. It was just stay present, set goals, and stay focused. God has a plan for you. Like, that's straight what it was. Like, for me, I feel like I've done my part in aligning myself with the right people and aligning myself with my purpose. From here, bro, like, God has a plan for me that's bigger than my own, you know? And for me to create a vision of something else and get so attached to that vision would be to kind of resist God's plan a little bit, right? Like, if I were to force myself to create a vision of myself like 10 years from now, like, I don't know, man. So I was questioning that a bit. So like, what it really came down to is like, stay present, set goals, stay focused. I obviously have like a vision of what I want to be doing. I want to be impacting people on a much broader scale. And I want to have, you know, like my wife, like the beautiful, like my whole entire life, I have visioned out in that aspect, right? Like, exactly what I'm going to be doing, dude. So much changes. So to say like, oh, I want to have like, you know, 1 million followers on Instagram, like, we don't even know what's going to happen in these next 10 years, bro. With COVID going on, like, we're like, bro, so much is shifting. So it's kind of like, how can I stay in the flow state? How can I flow with what the universe is doing? Like, I feel like I put myself in a position to be able to flow effortlessly and be in alignment with my purpose. So I feel like it's less of having to force a vision of yourself, and you should always have goals and always know where you want to go. Yeah, man. So that's
not forcing a vision of yourself. It's like, you know, because everyone has some type of like, damn, I'm not saying end goal, but like, you know, some type of like, you would like. Right?
Yeah, and
like, you would like this type of thing to happen, you know?
There you go. Yeah, and how I'll put that is because like, it's an emotion. Like, my goal isn't like a word or an accolade or a statistic. It's an emotion. That's straight what it is. So like, my great, like, it's just straight peace and love in my heart. That's what I want. That's my goal for like 10 years from now. If I have peace and love in my heart, I know I'm gonna be doing big things and fulfilling my purpose, right? Like, that's what I'm really trying to get on is just
that's dope.
Being in alignment with those emotions. Everything else will align itself effortlessly, right? So I don't have to be like, oh, I want to get this many followers, or I want to have this goal. Like, I just have to stay in a place of love and of progress, and I have faith that I'll get to exactly where I need to go, because like, dude, the world is in need of a lot of help right now, and I feel like that's why I was put on this earth to do, you know. So I feel like it'll come effortlessly, just like how nature grows. It doesn't struggle to grow. It just grows effortlessly, you know?
No, you're right. No, I fuck with that. I get where you're coming from. It's like, it's one of those things like, yo, like you work hard, you put your head down and just fucking grind it the fuck out, and like the hard work eventually pays off.
Yeah, dude.
Like you don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if you're gonna be a million. You don't know if you're gonna get a big house. You don't know none of that shit.
Exactly.
You just know at the end of this fucking, I guess not the road, but the end of this fucking, I guess, chapter is gonna be a brighter spot than when you fucking started. You know what I mean?
Exactly, man. And that's what it comes down to. Is like to answer your question in the beginning, like, you know, what's like your, whether it's like 5-10 years, like for me, I just look at the end of my life. Like what I did is I asked myself, and I did this exercise pretty early on, and when I was like 15, I was like, I imagined myself on my deathbed. Like, my time is up.
At 15, bro?
At 15, dude. Like,
fuck, you didn't do shit yet.
Straight, yeah, exactly. But that's like, time is an illusion, right? Like, looking at space and time, being in the third dimension,
you're right.
like, we're bounded by time, but other than that, like, time is really just an illusion, right?
It's relative, man.
It's relative.
Episode 1, time is fucking relative, man.
Exactly.
It's not real and shit.
Totally. So instead of figuring out how to become successful, it's looking at the end of your life, seeing what that feels like, feeling those emotions, and then figuring out how you did it and reverse engineering the process, right?
Wow.
So what I did is I envisioned myself on my deathbed, who was around me, you know, what did I feel? And that's really my goal. Like, that's what pulls me, you know? And that's what I don't feel like I have to push towards. That's why I feel like it's not, you know, because you can either push towards something or you can pull it.
Yeah.
And so, like, that's what really pulls me, that emotion. At the end of my life, dude, I just feel like I fulfilled my purpose. And I know I have a big purpose, so, like, I don't know exactly what that looks like, bro, to tell you the truth. Like,
alright. Okay, well, so speaking about purpose, right?
Yeah.
Although, because a lot of people don't know their purpose, and I'm not saying, so at this moment in time, in this moment of your life, and this moment right now as we've recorded and shit, like, what do you think your purpose is? Because like you said, you'll never really know until you know, but like, as time proceeds, like, I know you have some type of like, maybe this might be my thing. That's why you made you get into what you're doing now. Yeah. So what, like, if you were to describe what you were put on this earth for, what would it be? Definitely,
man. And so I think there's a little confusion on that question. Like, it's the purpose, and so, like, my purpose is to help us evolve, right? To restore balance, right? To be this positive light, and to help maintain this balance for humanity, right? Because when we're out of balance, we're just like we are right now. We're destroying each other, right?
Yes.
So that's my purpose. The medium of it is what is different. And, like, for me to say, oh, this is going to be my medium, I don't know that, bro. Like, especially right now, living in 2020, we're living in the biggest transitional phase. I believe this is, like, the Great Awakening. Like, people are starting to wake up, and there's been a big disconnect between the mind and the body and the spirit, right? And that's why there's so much imbalance right now. So I feel like my purpose here is to connect people with their spirit. And if we're all connected with our spirit and we're all doing what we love, dude, this is just going to be so much more of a positive place, right?
No, hell yeah. No, I believe that. I totally fucking believe that. This is a fucked up state right now, fucking Earth.
Exactly.
The world, just the world in general, bro. Like,
exactly, bro. Yeah.
It's fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
This whole 2020 shit, I just want this shit to be fucking over already, man.
For real, dude. For real.
This is too wild to me.
It's crazy. And so this is where that faith...
Stephen King movie right now, bro.
Right, bro. Dude, it's crazy. That's where that faith comes in, is where it's like, all right, this is my purpose. Like, I don't need to know what I'm going to be doing the next 5 years of my life necessarily, because I know I'm going to be in alignment with my purpose, and whatever that medium of my purpose is, I accept that, right? So it's like, as long as I'm fulfilling my purpose, I'm happy, bro. That's what I want to do. Like, that's why I'm here, is to be happy. That's why I feel like everyone's here, is to experience life for what it is. And there's so much beauty throughout the day that goes unseen.
Oh, like, that's true. That's definitely true,
man. The fact that we're in San Diego is, like, it's probably one of the most beautiful cities of the whole entire country. Definitely. Like, the weather here, it's a paradise, bro. Like,
no, for real.
The fact that this planet, we haven't found a single other planet in this huge, vast solar system, and this huge, vast, you know, space that remotely resembles this planet. You know, we're living on it. We're like the most gifted species on this. Like, what? Like, that is insane, bro. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it is.
All of that goes unseen every day. And because people tell themselves the bad stories of what's happening in their life, right? Yeah. Like how their boyfriend just broke up with them, how they just got laid off, or how, you know, their little brother's being annoying. Like, that's what happens, man. We get so caught up in that we forget what we're really here for, you know?
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
That's a fucking damn shame.
It's a damn shame, bro.
Like, it really is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the potential that we have as people or as even individuals, man, it's fucking wild, bro. It's fucking
Seriously.
wild. And people are just
As
like, you know,
humans, man.
they're just like whatever. They want to throw that shit away over some dumb
Yeah.
shit. You know what I mean?
Straight up, bro.
Like this whole, like you just for example, just for 2020, just throw 2020 as an example. Like yo,
Yeah.
COVID really fucked everybody up. It made people get divided. Like real talk. It's like yo, maskers, anti-maskers, fucking real vaccine, fake vaccine. This COVID's fake, COVID's real. Like no, fuck that, man. It's just like yo. It's there's something going on out here, and like why don't we just be people and human beings and just help each other the fuck out?
Right.
Like, who gives a fuck who's right or wrong? Like, there's the only thing that's right or wrong is like we try to get band together and fucking get rid of this shit.
Yep.
Like I don't understand, but that should be the only fucking goal.
Exactly, man.
It should be the only fucking goal. But I don't know, man.
Should be. No, you're on it. You got it, bro. Like, so what's happening right now is people are starting to realize that. They're like, why are we harming each other, right? And there's like, man, it's just that's why like one of my biggest goals is to, you know, revolutionize the school system. I think that it all starts with the youth. Shit, man, like looking at like influence in itself, and this is why we're so exclusive as a network and as an agency, is because influence in itself is such a powerful tool. It's just like a sword. With a sword, you could, you know, back in the medieval times, with a sword you could protect your family, you could protect your farm, you know, you could have a happy life, or you could fuck around with it and chop your finger off, you know?
Word.
Like straight up. So influence is the same thing. Right now what's happening is there's a lot of influencers versus actually influential people, and influencers aren't like having it, like they're posting their Lamborghinis, their travel life, but they're not really showing how they did it, and people don't feel good when they see that. They just compare, right? Like, why am I not there? But then there's influential people like Oprah, like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, that are like, this is how I got there. You know, this is the life that I have, but this is how I got there.
And anybody could have that life too.
Anybody could have
wanted to, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck with that.
Exactly, man.
Fuck with that.
Yeah.
I fucks with that. That's some real shit right there.
Yeah, dude.
That's some real shit.
So there's a big shift that's going on right now, you know, and just awareness and influence, I feel, is going to be the biggest factor in which way that we go. Because you look at how Martin Luther King utilized influence, had an extremely positive impact. You look at how Adolf Hitler utilized influence and got a whole entire nation to kill people, right?
Not for nothing. Not for nothing. I'm not a Hitler supporter by any means.
No, nor
you
am I.
gotta be some type of fucking like
Straight up
genius or some highly intelligent person to be able to brainwash people to even think like that, bro.
That's the point I'm touching on here.
Crazy, man.
That's what influence does, man. That's what influence does. And right now, with the power of social media, because before it was just the news, it was the TV, it was the news, like it was all that media that the media got to decide who has the attention, which means who has the influence, right? Now we've been given this tool, social media, and it literally gives us the power to put influence in our own hands. So our mission is putting influence in the hands of the right people. People like Martin Luther King, people that are legends, people that are gonna make a positive impact, and making sure that we're keeping it away from these people right now. Because the people on the opposite side of the spectrum have a lot of the power and influence, and unfortunately, that's just how the system's been built, right? So, like in order to go through this big awakening, like it's gonna take a lot of influence from positive people, from awakened people. And man, so that's our mission, is making sure that
wake up, people, stay woke.
Yeah. Stay woke, bro.
Woke, man.
Yeah.
Don't be a sheep.
Don't be a sheep.
Don't be a fucking sheep.
Yep.
Ask Charlie. Don't be a fucking sheep.
Don't be a sheep.
So alright, so as I'm finishing this cut, what's your like, I guess your outgoing fucking like outro right now to tell everybody like about Charlie and what you're about and like, you know, all that, you know, good stuff about yourself.
Definitely, man. The first thing is get a haircut from Booby the Barber.
Hell yeah.
Straight what it comes
Let
down
him fucking
to.
know, bro.
Let them know. Like, and I'll touch on this for a bit because it's so important, is how you look is how you feel, right? So when you look good and you look fresh and you look successful and you look groomed, that's just how you act, right?
And you act like a bum, you look like a bum.
Straight up, dude, I mean, a little like you look in the mirror and your hair's like all messy and you're like, oh God, you know, like it doesn't make you, yeah, dude, it doesn't make you feel like you're a boss most of the time, you know? So like having haircuts, bro, it just, it definitely raises your vibration. So that's what I'll go out with is, dude, like I'm always on a mission to raise my vibration by the people I'm around, by the, you know, experiences that I have. And experiences like this, dude, it's all contributing to that. So appreciate you having me on here, Booby.
Yo, man, thank you for being a guest, man. Thank you for sharing all that stuff, man. Because
100%.
a lot of people out here, like, for a while, and I've seen it, and you've seen it, like, just so negative, right? And it's like that's something you can control. When it comes to the end of the day, like you were saying, it's like, yo, we could either focus on that positive stuff or the negative stuff. You know, we could either let fear take over, or we, you know, take hold of that fear and be like, yo, fuck it, let's take that leap and go ahead and do what we need to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, hopefully, like with this episode, people are understanding, right? Matter of fact, just realizing that they have the power.
Exactly, man. And it's all
individuals have the, you have the fucking power.
So much, man, and it's all in that awareness. And this is my challenge for anyone listening to this podcast is, you know, next time you want to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and that bitch self comes up and says, you know, I don't want to do it, recognize it, point it out, and identify that is the bitch self, and that you do not identify with the bitch self, right? I mean, if you do, like, this probably doesn't feel good. Like, I personally don't enjoy identifying with, like, it just doesn't feel good, you know? If you want to do that, go ahead and try it for a bit, and you're eventually going to learn that you want to align with your higher self. So what it comes down to is just identify that and switch it up. Like, listen to the higher self, identify with the higher self, listen to what that voice, that bitch self is telling you not to do, and just do the opposite. You're going to have a really fun life.
Oh.
Yeah.
Big facts, everyone. No bitch assness over here.
No bitch assness on the Choppin It Up Show.
We out.
Peace.